it's been at least a week or two since I unboxed this Mega Drive arcade power stick, and I figure why not have, well, let's have a go at recording stuff at my workbench, and it still needs a clean, but I'll do that later. That's not the most exciting thing. But we might open it up, take a look inside, see how this thing stacks up when it's all disassembled, and yeah, I guess give it a service, although I have played with it for a few hours and it seems to be working just fine. But let's flip this over and get into it. So, Japanese made. This one is model, where is it? HAA 2650. Made in Taiwan. I tell you, there's some heft to these. That bottom plate there is metal. So we've got 6 fairly standard size Phillips head screws. Take those out. Okay, so that's the plate unscrewed. Let's see now how it might just see if we can get the screwdriver in there. Actually, you know what? Let's try simple gravity. Aha. Okay. Alright, well, out of curiosity, I'm going to weigh this plate, see how heavy it is. What do we have? Interesting how this piece sits underneath the buttons. I guess that's providing additional strain relief. Preferable to having the board actually take that. Let's take the actual joystick assembly out. Now, this looks similar to, I have opened a Sega arcade stick, again, made in Japan, so definitely micro switches. And so I'm not sure how well you can see this. Let me try and get this camera to focus on it. Come on. But yeah, the levers of the micro switches are sort of around the edges of this square, and they're pressed into by the lever, the joystick lever, as you move it around. Interestingly, this is magnetic. I was not expecting that. It looks like to remove this piece, we just want to remove these 4 black screws around the corner. These silver ones look as though they may be actually a part of the assembly itself. Just looking at the screws, the internal ones on this do seem to have a slightly different, well, they're longer. I'm not sure about the pitch in the threads. This screw hole's got a crack. I'm really not sure if I'm going to bother caring about that right now.
Okay, and oh, it doesn't want to. I wonder how one gets that ball off. I am going to try and just see if we can pull it this way. That, oh, I don't know, that doesn't feel quite right. Can I
try the pliers, see if I can... Aha! There we go. Whoa, don't lose that. So the knob just screws off. Nice brass insert on that. I apologise the focus on this being weird. This is the first time I've done it, and I'm just using a HD webcam. Nothing particularly fancy, so I guess it's going to hunt the focus. Ooh, that's... Yeah, there's definitely some Japan Joy on here. Ooh, I don't know about calling it Japan Joy. That's... makes me feel extra dirty. But this is going to benefit from a wash. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this joystick assembly. I am intrigued. So, what have we got? There's our stick. Oh, okay. I probably could have removed that circlip to get the stick out of here, but I'd rather not. I'm really perplexed as to why this is metallic. I don't think it's this bit here. This feels like it's a plastic. Let's see. If we scratch that, what happens to it? If we scratch that, what happens to it? Yeah, that's a plastic of some kind. Oh, a little bit extra light. More light. So what do we have? We have... Okay, we've got a common and 4 wires, which makes sense. 1 for each cardinal input. Up, down, left, right. I've got to... We've come this far. We may as well keep going. Whoa. Okay, I think it's just this plate that's magnetic. Not overly, though. It won't, like, the screwdriver sticks to it a little bit, but... Oh, it doesn't pick up screws. But it is magnetic. I'm curious to know if there's a reason for that. Okay, and there you go. There's the assembly of micro switches. You can see how, well, once we put this back together, they would all stay in place. And that's kind of how it works. I guess the alternative would be to press down on switches on the board, but this probably helps with strain relief as well. I don't know, I'm speculating there. Okay, I might reassemble this before it's forgotten, or I do something stupid like damage it. And we'll leave the knob off for now so I can just stick it on there. Okay, I guess we'll take this circuit board out, and maybe similar to the actual joystick section, it might come free with the buttons separate. Sorry, the buttons separate but attached to the circuit board that we are removing. Oh, right, yes, of course. There's quite a few... Okay, that's not going to just come out. We do need to remove this bit to get this circuit board out. Okay. Alright, so... Yeah, that would just be additional physical strain relief for the buttons pushing up from the underside of that. That just pushes back so we don't get flex in the circuit board, which I guess isn't only going to risk damaging the circuit board, but might upset some of the solder joints. Here we go. Look at that. Okay. There's some nice big pads on that. That would be A, B, and C. A custom Sega chip down here with a 315 part number prefix. 3155392. I don't know what that is exactly, but I would wager it's a very special controller chip just for this. I mean, it might just be a bunch of logic gates. Okay, how many pins is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 22 pin dip. That's an odd. 22 pin dip's a very odd number. And the pitch between the pins looks a little finer than usual. Like these ones here on that 22 pin chip. Come on, focus, focus please. Focus please. Ugh. Okay, well, yeah, that package is dipped, but it's a little unusual. Okay. 9-pin cable out to the system. So turbo switch 1, that would be turbo A, B, and C. Now, I don't get too concerned necessarily about cleaning these pads. I might give them a brush down on a clean sheet of printing paper. Oh, there's a little bit of stuff getting under there now. Probably as I'm disturbing it all. Okay. And it says volume, but that's the, I guess you could say it's volume. It's the amount of rapid fire, the amount of pew-pew. Rubicon capacitor there. 47 microfarads, 10 volts, that one. Washed all the pieces. Washed the button pieces, the top of the arcade, the joystick. I did also weigh the base plate. The base plate on this weighs 446 grams. That's reasonably hefty, almost half a kilo, possibly even a pound for those imperial measurement inclined among us. Okay, now I had started to actually clean off these black rubber pads, so before I realised the mic issue. So all I tend to do is just give them just a gentle smearing across A4, just basically to take the top off the layer, freshen them up a little bit. You don't need to go too hard. I mean, the last thing you want to do is to rip these pads. That's them all done now, basically. So I need to reassemble this. Okay, so let's get to that. I suppose the obvious thing to get started with is putting buttons back in. So A is this one. These don't seem to be quite like the normal Saturn control, normal Sega control pads, where there's only one way a button can actually go back in to the case of the controller. I'm not sure if these... Are there any differences on these? I don't think there is. I hope not, because I didn't really pay attention. We'll just pop those in, see how they go. Oh, get things in the camera. Now, if I was a angled start button, which way would I want to go in? Oh wait, there's a keyed notch there. Never mind, problem solved. What's next? Ah, right, of course, we need to do the pads. So we'll just... I think they just sit nicely in the top of these, yep, button sort of recesses. Fits nice and perfectly. Okay. So now let's put the circuit board back in. Now we need to make sure that the hole in the top of our rapid fire rate slider actually lines up and sits in the top. Now, usual thing with these self-tapping screws into plastic is you kind of want to undo them a little bit, wind them back until they click, drop down, and then tighten them up. That way you should, rather than cut a new thread, you should be able to reuse the one that's already there, not weaken the plastic. I'm not sure what this little metallic piece is made of. It looks as though it's designed to offer some grounding, but between what? Okay, so now let's try. What do we need to do now? We need, I think, yeah, so there's a little channel, some clips of sorts, I guess, molded into the top shell down the side here that the cable runs in to go around the side. Let's put our joystick unit back in. Pretty neat. That's a joystick unit. That's serious business. It'd be interesting to see a non-Japanese made one of these and see if it's true that it's only the Japanese ones that actually make use of what am I trying to say? The Japanese ones that make use of micro switches in the joystick mechanism. This is not working well. I'm not sure if it makes sense to lubricate this at all, if that's feasible in any way. Feels fine, really. Now, I did wash this, but I guess my hands are a little greasy from lunch, I suppose. Okay, it at least any dirt that builds up in the crevices now will be my dirt, not whatever happened to it in Japan. Alright, we'll put our back plate back on. That needs to... There we go. Just where this piece slits in, it has two fingers which sit over the moulding of the cable.